Here we go. Are you there, brother?
You know.
Yes, brother. Fucking hell, it's worked. We're live, bro. There's only 126 in right now. Can you hear me? You there, brother? Sicarius, can you hear us, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, yeah.
Yeah, brother, safe one, right? I've got you in. There's only 135 on. It can go up to 500. Right, so just thank you for coming on, first of all, mate. It's appreciated. I know you're not feeling too good. Just want to go into, like, how you got involved. Speak as much as you can. Like I've explained to you before, please do watch the channel. And I know you're clued up anyway. But so how old were you when you first got involved in criminality and stuff like that?
I think about 15, 16 or something.
How did it come about? Just knocking around with the wrong lads, or just?
I don't remember, just being a kid where I grew up. We just got involved in stupid motorbikes and shit like that, and then obviously things just escalate, doesn't it?
Yeah. So what sort of things were you getting up to? You just, like you said, ramblers and just scrambling about, and then it just became things on from there.
Fucking about, and then get involved in petty crime, and then when I come 21, started fucking about with guns and shit like that, and then it just escalates, doesn't it?
Ever been charged? Ever been convicted of firearms?
I got 8 years in 2003 or 2004. That was for firearm offences. What
was you caught with, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it was a Brown or a Beretta. I can't remember. It was under my pillow. The police come to where I was staying in Grange. I think it was Grange Mount in Wirral. And obviously, when they've come and raided the place where it was under my pillow. Loads of gun under my pillow.
Fucking full clip and all that.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. I think I had about 6 or 7 in it. But they give me
just absolutely madness from there.
Yeah, but I think they give me 4 years for that, and I was arrested for a shooting as well on a like a squaddy, an army fella. I think I got 3.5 on top of that, and then I was sentenced for another 9 months on top of that for an affray with these black fellas. So we come to 8 years altogether, but I think it was about 21, 22 or something. So back then, people used to get like 18 months for a firearm, but they give me 4 or 4.5 one. So that was quite a long time. Back then, the 5-year minimum went in. Back then, this is like 2002. I got arrested with it. 2003, maybe 2002.
Got armed police and all that, and then so with this alleged shooting, you convicted? Obviously not convicted.
Yeah, I've gone on wide. Obviously, I wouldn't be on here if I was involved in crime. I wouldn't even be on here because it's just all these criminals that come on these channels after them are just fucking backwards. But I'm done with crime. I put up the army, a few years ago. So, there's no winners in it. Crime, you either end up dead or you end up in jail. It's just
how many people have you lost, Sicarius, yourself through living that life?
How many what? Sorry.
How many people have you lost personally through knife crime, gun crime?
I wouldn't say I've lost them personally, but like associates, or I wouldn't even class them as friends because they're all rats in it. But it's probably about 10, 15.
Fucking hell, just so everything from shot dead to knife to...
Yeah, but listen, what I found, and it's not trying to push Scousers down or that I hate them, but most of these criminals in Liverpool, they're just full of shit, and they're just two-faced rats who were like fishwives after them, like fishwives. They talk shit about each other and say, such and such is a grass, such and such, but they're all doing deals with the police anyway, so they're just hypocrites. And one day they'll realise, obviously they go to jail, and then they get out and go back to the same bollocks. So they just go, it's just another jail sentence. And then when they're in jail, the bird's getting fucked by Jamal or something. Jamal's going around and poking his bird, so it's not really, it's just bollocks, innit? And then he's stressed in a cell, he'll end up on the spice. It's just bullshit. I've seen it for years and years. I've seen kids, not just from Liverpool, but everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And the heads fall off in prison. So why do crime? If you can't do your sentence, why are you committing crime? And that's what I say about criminals. Criminals are just fucking, they're a backward breed. But what I found is London criminals seem to be a lot more loyal and a lot more, they've got a lot more on it, if you know what I mean. So I used to make
the one thing I've learned about Liverpool is they throw the word nonce out down there and fucking police informer and grass and fucking pedo down there like it's going out of fashion. That's one thing that the criminal fraternity seems to do.
Listen, Liverpool criminals have got the pros and cons, and the funny thing about Liverpool criminals, they get where water doesn't go. If you go to any prison in the country, you'll always find a Scouser in it. So they get everywhere in the world. They're everywhere, and they are. Most of them are good at what they do, but you know, there's no winners. It's just bollocks. They're always hiding from police, ducking and diving. It's bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Even these drug dealers, half of these, the gangbangers, they're not as bad as the drug dealers, but all these drug dealers that go around with the fucking veneers and the comb there and that, when they go to jail, their heads fall off. Because all these Canada Goose coats and all these big fucking £2,000 shoes, they can't maintain that in jail, because they've got some mad little fat blonde bird outside that's milking them for the money and wants that high life still. So they're in jail trying to maintain the woman, and they're not making as much money as what they were when he was out. Do you know what I mean? So they end up, the bird ends up fucking getting porked by someone else, and then they're stressed out, and they end up, I've seen loads of them go on the spice, or look like they was on the spice anyway. The ones who aren't smoking it look like they're on it because they're stressed, the fucking their heads fall off. And I used to say to loads of them, I used to say, what, you know, crime's not for you because it breaks you, jail breaks you. And they're only doing like 6s and 7s. So imagine if they get nicked again, they get a 15, it's bullshit. I realised on my last sentence, I got an 8.5 on my last one. And it was like 2017, I realised crime is not for me. It's bollocks. Now everyone says, nah, it's fucking, you're finished. I'm not finished. I'm just can't be asked going back to jail and sitting there with the same divvies talking the same shit. Because that's all criminals talk about. They just talk about absolute bollocks. They're going to do this, they're going to do that. Fucking, it's just bollocks. They need to just get out and get a job and feed the kids. Instead of talking about all this criminality and trying to set grafts up and do this and do that. It's just bollocks. And then the ones that get big jail sentences after them, obviously they're all right in the likes of Waltons and Forest Banks and shit like that, but when they go to the proper jails down south, like the London jails, they're quiet as mice. Do you know what I mean? I've seen like not all of them. There is some proper Scousers and the game and the proper people, but a lot of them, like half of these racist cunts, a lot of them are proper Nazis. You know what I mean? And I've had a bit of headache with it because I was mixing with a few black kids in London now. This was years and years ago, obviously not now. I've got ties with everyone, but they're all racist cunts in their own prisons. But when they go down in London jails, they're quiet as mice. Do you know what I mean? And they don't say nothing to no one. Like, I don't know, a lot of them have an hard time off the Muslims and the dispersals and that. And they, you know, they don't come out of the block. Don't play gangster when you're in Walton or Forest Bank. And then when you go to like fucking these London jails in Brixton or what's the cap being? 10th? There's Swale side. You know,
yeah, Swale side, yeah. Stab side is someone else.
Yeah, and the quiet, you know, the quiet is mice. And some of the dispersers like Full Sutton and Whitemore and that. There is some decent Scousers, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're all rats, but the majority are rats. And everyone thinks I hate Scousers, but that's not the case. They're just scumbags. Most of them are scum. But most criminals are scum, and that's what people need to understand. Crime, there's no winners for it. Even me barrister, on my last trial, I don't know what was the last one, or can't remember what case it was, but I had these barristers from London. And he said, look, it's not the police you need to watch. Everyone says the police this, the police that, but it's not the police you need to watch. It's the criminals who fuck you over. It's not the police who fuck you over. The police are doing their job. It's the police's job to nick you. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a game of cat and mouse. You're the criminal, and the police are there to catch the criminal. So you can't. I'm not saying I like the police or I love the police or nothing, but you can't knock the police for doing the job. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you get caught, you're a shit criminal, so you need to give up. Do you understand what I'm saying? But everyone says, police this, police that. It's the fucking criminals who are giving the police the info for them to come and nick it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, 100%.
But if the police didn't have the info of the criminals, then they wouldn't nick most of the people. So that's what people, the sooner people or the criminals realise that crime, it's just a rat's game. It's full of rats. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I've realised. I don't even mix with anyone who's dodgy now. I don't even engage with them. Because I've got no time for them, got nothing in common with them. Not that I'm thinking better than them, but I'd just rather go to work, a normal job, and just, that's it, have a normal fucking life, do you know what I mean? All this criminality is just bollocks. It just stresses you out, it sends you great, you end up aging and looking like a drug, do you know what I mean? Because you're always trying to run and beat the system, it doesn't work. You can't beat the system. System designed where you can't beat it, do you know what I mean?
100%, brother. So what, like, for me, like, looking at Liverpool, obviously I'm 36, me Sicarius, but like Manchester and Liverpool for me, there was probably two of the original like postcode gangs where. Like you've got, like you said, you're from originally from Liverpool 6, and then like Liverpool 5, Liverpool 4, Liverpool 12. You've got all these different, like, for me, I believe that like Manchester and Liverpool were probably two of the most like first when it came to like postcode gangs, and look at Croxteth and Norris Green and all that sort of stuff.
All that gangbanging never started in Liverpool till like 2001, whereas it was in Manchester in the 80s and 90s, late 80s, early 90s, all like South Manchester. Yeah, so that was going on. It started in Manchester a lot earlier than it did in Liverpool. When that gangbanging was going on in Manchester, Liverpool people were still running around with fucking playing pigeon toss or playing tick or knocking doors run or something, do you know what I mean? So the kids in Liverpool weren't that, they never had that mentality until like 2001. You know what I mean? And then it just escalated. It's like a disease, it's like corona, it spreads. Once it starts, it spreads, you know what I mean? And then it's hard to get it's hard to get a book on it. But that's another thing about, obviously, the gangbangers, and it's just a stupid. There's no winners in that. You end up dead or you end up in jail, and then your mum's coming to your fucking funeral, closed casket and all that shit, bollocks. Or you just end up with a big fucking jail sentence. It's just pointless. There is no winners in it. Shooting at each other and trying to kill each other. It's just bollocks. Over what? Over a postcode or over some? It's just bullshit. It's bollocks, not, you know, it's just fucking, I don't see the point in it. That's why I've decided to just cut ties with all that bollocks and all that bullshit and just get a job. I've got a job now, I'm earning fucking 600 quid a week, legit wage. Don't have to look over my shoulder, you know, and I'm happy. I feel happier than what I've ever felt ever. And I don't mix with criminals, so I mix with normal people. Everyone I mix with now, they work, do you understand what I'm saying? And you feel a lot better, you feel relieved, you feel healthier, you feel good. But crime, you can't have that feeling because you're always stressing, looking over your shoulder and looking who's trying to rob you, looking who's trying to. I was a robber myself. I used to rob people. I was one of the worst robbers in the city. Do you know what I mean? But,
what was your grafting, brother? What was your grafting other people, dealers?
Nah, I used to like targeting drug dealers because I fucking hate drug dealers. I hate them. I've hated them since I was a kid. So I'm fucking my chest fucked off working. I've been breathing pure shit in, but yeah, as I was saying, I've just had a hatred for drug dealers since I was a kid. So there was quite a few times where I'd target them, and then the times where I'd bring other kids in from out the way to attack them. Do you know what I mean? And now drug dealers always say, when I was in jail on the sentence, like they say, oh, you was a scumbag the way you used to be. You used to get kids to tax fucking grafters and that. But every criminal is a scumbag no matter what you do. A drug dealer is no better than a thief. Do you understand what I'm saying? No one's crime is scum. Now, you get these bank robbers that are stuck up their own ass that goes, oh, these taxes and that who tax grafters, the scumbags, but nah, you're going in a bank, putting a fucking gun at a normal cashier, a 9-to-5 woman who's got a family at home, and you're giving her fucking PTSD. She probably pisses her knickers and that, so the bank robbers are scumbags. Every criminal is a scumbag, including me, I was as well. Do you know what I mean? But I used to try and keep it against criminals. I tried not to target the normal people, do you know what I mean?
So it sounds like you had the old school morals where if you're in the game, you're fair game, but people that go to work 9 to 5, ladies and children sort of thing, it's just you went for people that were active.
Yeah, that's exactly how that was my mindset, where I wouldn't target fucking people who went to work. Do you know what I mean? From when I was 21 years of age, I focused on drug dealers. I started from robbing watches where I'd hold them up and take the watches, like Rolexes or whatever they were, and then I'd go and sell the Rolexes, and then obviously we started by getting them and robbing them for whatever we was doing. It was just bollocks, you know what I mean? But I just hated drug dealers. I couldn't stand them. I fucking, you know, a lot of the stuff a lot of the stuff I done, I got convicted of. It's just, you know, it's just one of them because they're all intermingled with each other. Do you know what I mean? But I just couldn't stand them. They make people's lives a misery, and a lot of drug dealers used to say to me, "We don't force addicts to buy it; they buy it through choice." But what you got to understand, when people are addicted to a drug, it controls them. If you can't control your addiction, it'll control you. It's just like an alcoholic. They don't want to take them drugs. It's an addiction. So drug dealers prey on the vulnerable. That's what they do. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I don't know what, I just had a hatred towards him, and that was just what I done for money whenever I could. But I stopped that years and years ago. That was when I was a kid, do you know what I mean? And then I moved out of Liverpool, moved to fucking Lancashire, tried to set up a few businesses, and that just went wrong. Ended up getting in jail again. So it's just, I've just knocked it all on the head. It's just not, I'm a shit criminal, do you know what I mean? Because I keep getting caught, so I'll give it a miss. And clearly,
1,000,000%. I mean, I'll be honest with you now, Sicarius, right? Back in the day, I used to be involved with selling Class A's, right? I'll be honest, if you know about my channel, one thing you'll see, I say that to my shame and to my, wasn't my drugs. I was running an operation for some Asian kids, right? With the brown and the white. I say that as a fucking, I said it just last night. I am not proud of that. It made me a fucking scumbag, because what it does, it kills people, it rips families apart, right? And do you know what? It fuels the cycle of crime as well. I was a scumbag, and do you know what, brother? When I was involved, I couldn't see the wood for the trees. Now I'm out of it. It's a fucking shameful thing, brother.
But listen, but that's the way it is. Just like when we was involved in gangbanging when we were kids, when we were 21 and 22, I didn't have a clue what the fuck was going on. Now I used to go shopping with 2 handguns on me at 21 years of age, and you can't see, because you're that young and deluded and backwards, you can't see your recklessness or the wrong you're doing. Do you understand? Or the potential risk to society. You can't see that because you're young, naive, and you haven't got a fucking clue. Do you know what I mean? But it's when you get out of it and when you mature and grow up, you think, what the fuck was I doing? It's just bollocks. But people thrive on that. I think it's great. But if you got that mentality, then you're going to spend a long time in jail, or you're going to end up dead. It's just bullshit. You know, I know loads of people who've been killed over nothing, just over fuck all. And you've got to think about the families and the kids and the parents and that. You know, it owns them forever, and it's bollocks. No one wants that for the family. And these gangbangers need to think about, when they have kids, is that what they want their kids doing? Do you know what I mean? So it's bollocks.
What are your thoughts on, I don't know if you want to comment on it, you don't have to if you don't want. Do you remember little Reece Jones that was shot dead by a bullet from Sean Mercer? And little boy Blue on his way back from football training, like, I think it was 10 years ago now.
I think it was 2007 or something, around 2007. I can't remember. It was about 13 years ago.
Yeah.
2006, 2007. Because I remember when I was in stage raising, and the kid who done it was there. He was down the block, and I was speaking to him now. He's a scumbag what he done, but at the time I thought he was a decent kid. Now, I'm not going to sit here and slate him, but you've got to look at the victims, families, fucking the normal people. Come on, the normal. Even if the criminals, no one deserves that shit. No one deserves that. Whether it's fucking, it's horrible. It's a horrible thing to experience. You know what I mean? Now, people who do that shit. Now, when they got in court, I watched that documentary in 2017, and that was one of the things that motivated me change. Because you see the kids' parents, and you think, it's breaking for them. Do you know what I mean? And everyone sat in court laughing and all that, laughing and mocking the parents. Now it's a shitbag, shithouse thing to do. I'm not saying it was an accident. Obviously, it was an accident. He hasn't intended, but it's the consequence of his actions. You understand what I'm saying? And it's easy for it to happen. It's easy for someone to do that, and that's what people need to. I'm not here to preach to people. I couldn't give a fuck if people want to be a retard and run around like fucking John Wayne. Then fair enough. But you're gonna get big jail, and you'll go to them big jails down south. And them London kids are different. They cut from a different cloth. No matter what anyone says, no matter what any Manchester kid, Liverpool kid, anyone from the north, the London kids are cut from a different cloth. They're a totally different kettle of fish, and the heavy kids, they don't give a fuck. Do you understand what I'm saying? And these little gangbangers from Liverpool and Manchester, and that, they all think they're bad, but when they go to jails, it's a different kettle of fish. Now, people were in them jails years ago. I was there years ago. Now, it weren't nowhere near as bad as what it is now. Do you know what I mean? But I remember when I first went to dispersal in 2006, I hit the block straight away. And you have all, at the time, I had all Scousers saying, you shitbag, you should have faced it, And this and that. I had some stupid drama with Yardies over a riot in Ryle that happened. So some Rastafarian, some fucking big dreadlock fella, he's ran past me, and I've whipped him up, and I've given him a few fucking kicks. Some bullshit. It was stupid, you know what I mean? Just that thing. This was like 2005, 2006. So I went along that, and Everyone else was got shit to Dovegate and Lardham, and I got sent along that with all these yardies, a big bus full of yardies. So fucking, they've called me in the cell, just seen pure eyeballs, and I thought, fuck this, one of them's pulled a big knife out. So I just went to block. I thought, nah, fuck that. I shit myself, do you know what I mean? I just went to block. And I had all scouts saying, nah, you're a shitbag, you should have faced it and you should have fronted it. But now I see them in dispersal. No, I don't see them personally, but I hear of them in dispersal, and they won't come out of the block because they're getting fucking terrorised by the Muslims. The Muslims are terrorising them because they're all racist. Not all of the Scousers did it, some decent ones, but half of the Scousers, half of them are racist cunts. And when they go to them prisons, they come unstuck. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because the London kids, they're cut from a different cloth. I don't know if you've mixed with any London kids, but they're a totally different breed. Do you know what I mean? And the serious, heavy kids. So when these little racist cunts from Liverpool or Manchester, wherever, come to them prisons, they come unstuck. And they either won't come out of the cell or they won't come out of the seg. But these are the same type of divvies years ago when I was young. Were saying you should have fronted, you should have done this, you should have done. And when I hear about it now, I just laugh. I think what a firm of fucking idiots. You know, and that's the type of circles in which you're entangled up in. When you're involved in crime is just bollocks. It's just full of rats. Every criminal's a rat. There's not one criminal in the country that you can produce what's a decent person. They're all rats some way or other. They're all feeding misery, whether they're bank robbers, thieves, fucking drug dealers, they're all scum. And that's what people need to understand. And don't, otherwise you're justifying your actions, you know what I'm saying? Or fucking I sell drugs but I don't force it on them. It doesn't matter, they're still addicts, they're still someone's son or someone's dad, or do you understand what I'm saying?
Man. With the drug thing, how bad, I know, well, I've mixed with Scousers, I've been with Scouse Birds. How bad is the drug problem, firearms, gangbanging in Liverpool for people that don't know?
It's bad, but it's bad everywhere. It's bad all over the country. But you get people coming out of Liverpool and going to places wherever, like these fucking little country gaps and that, because it's more easier to control down there because it's full of what people are described as idiots. Because no one's got. If you go to these mad places in Cumbria and that, no one has guns. Or if you go to these mad places in fucking Wales, they just have arm wrestles and give Chinese bands out and nipple twists. You know what I mean? That's what type of stuff happens in Wales. That's as bad as it gets. So that's why you get a lot of northern people from like Manchester, Liverpool, for example, say, going to places like that because it's easier to gain control. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where in their own city, it's more harder. It's more there's more of a fight for the area. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you go to these daft places in Wales and that, and there's bigger money and it's easier to get control because it's just because the people. I'm not saying they're vulnerable, but. Nothing serious happening in Wales, you know what I mean? I think in Wales, a fella chased another fella past the butcher shop with a fucking mop, and it made the front news, you know what I mean? So that's what type of stupid shit happens in Wales. So you don't get all this gangbanging in Wales and people shooting each other, and it doesn't really happen, you know what I mean? It's just stupid fights and arm wrestles and fucking nipple twists and that. It's daft. Chinese burn or something, not fucking Welsh Morris. But I'm not criticising the Welsh, I'm not trying to say, you understand what I'm saying, man?
Yeah. What you're saying is, with the power vacuum in Liverpool, with all the different factions, people trying to muscle in on your action. If you go to a little town, like you said, out of the way in Cumbria, in North Wales, where there's not that much going on, you can go in, you can take over, because whatever resistance is there, you're just going to take over. But in Liverpool, in a big city where you've got different factions, you've got different hustles and stuff like that, you're going to be challenged, and you might not have the power into you, but you go there and you can take over. Where in Liverpool, you might just be a violent offender.
Yeah, obviously, but and in Liverpool, you've got all little kids, little mad kids who are game as fuck, trying to attack you. So that's why half of these drug dealers go out of the way and graft, because half of them are just victims anyway. Half of them are victims that just peddle misery. And they just stay on the quiet, do you know what I mean? Because they can't live in the big cities because they just get wrapped up. There is some game cunts in Liverpool, now there's some proper heavy kids there, so I'm not saying all Scousers are backwards or whatever, you know, a lot of them can make money, and a lot of them are serious kids, but there's not much at the end of it, do you understand what I'm saying? And that's, I used to have discussions with them. I was a mentor in Birmingham for about 2.5 years, and I used to discuss with them all the time, said that the crime's finished. And no one ever listened, and they used to go, nah, fucking Encrow and this crow and that crow. And the NCA just cracked the Encrow. So everything criminals have, the police are one step ahead anyway, but let you have your encro for a couple of years and not building intel on you and then just coming at you. It's bollocks. Do you know what I mean? The crime's done. Crime is finished in this country. And it's something I'd never ever go back to. It's fucking. I'd rather work in McDonald's for £6, £8, whatever the minimum wage is, £8.70 an hour, and be happy and have a life. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. 1,000,000%. So can I just, so Sicarius, so if there's a young lad that's watching this, 12, 13, some drug dealers fucking grooming him into selling drugs for him in school or whatever, that's thinking it's glamorous to go down the gangbanger route, go down the criminal route, what would you say to a young kid that's going to watch this anywhere in the country that might think about taking your route or routes similar to yours?
Listen, obviously these young kids are seeing people with these fucking 500 quid, £1,000 shoes and I'm thinking, yeah, that's what they want. Now, it is nice to have that, but all these older people that these young kids are seeing with these flash cars and big shoes and big coats, these Canada fucking Iranian goose coats, whatever they're called, it's not going to last. And when the police come for you now on this pocket stuff, they don't just take your car in your house, they'll take your fucking socks, they'll take your socks and your pants and your shoes, and your nan's tights, they'll take everything off you. So nothing lasts. This pocket now, this proceeds of crime. They will take everything you've earned through criminality. And even if you got stuff legit, even if you got legit properties, if you're a criminal, they'll take them anyway. Because they'll let you wear a pocket. And they'll say, okay, well, you need to sell your houses to pay the money. So you can't win. Crime does not pay. And you'd be better. Listen, you can go, if you're 13 now, go and start an electrician course in 2 years or 18 months. And you'll be qualified within a couple of years and you'll earn £1,000 a week, £52 a year legit. As an electrician, or a plumber, or a fucking, a joiner. A joiner's earn 700 quid a week. Now, 700 quid a week going for your bank account in a couple of years, so you'll be able to get a mortgage. You
there, brother? Sicarius, you there? Hold on, we just had a little bit of technical difficulty. He's in the flow. Sicarius, you there, brother? You dropped out for a second. Sicarius? Can you hear me, Sicarius? I can't hear you, Sicarius, at all.
Yeah, I don't know what happened then, yeah.
It's all right, brother. It's all right. You're back, bro. You're back. It just froze for about 30 seconds. So you said about you can get £700 a week as like heating engineer, plumber, sort of that sort of thing.
Even the railways, you get like 1,500 quid a week. So it's like 70 grand a year, the fucking 75 grand a year for a legit job. You don't have to look over your shoulder. You can have legit stuff. You can buy your stuff and keep it and have no qualm about the police trying to take it off you because it's legit. And criminality is finished. Crime, years ago, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s and that, you could do crime and you could make money. But unfortunately, I never because I was an idiot. But I'm saying you can make money. Back then, you can't do it now. It doesn't happen. You can make money, but you won't keep it. It's not sustainable. Crime is not sustainable. It's bollocks. And the gangbanging is bollocks as well. You just end up dead or you'll end up with fucking 42 years off your ass. It's bullshit. And all these gangbangers that are sitting in jail doing 30s, 40s, there's not one of them that wouldn't turn back the clock and get a job. Do you know what I mean? Do you think anyone in the system now doing a big wreck, if they had the option, if a fairy come to them or fucking God come to them and said, I'll give you a second chance if you get a job, do you think any of them would turn that down? Come on. They sat in jail for 35 years wanking. Who wants to do that? Do you know what I mean? After 5 years, your knob's going to be red raw. It's just bullshit. And that's one of the consequences of crime. It's bollocks. Now everyone says, oh, you'll have all these divvies saying, oh, he's a snitch, he's this, he's that. But come on. It's all these criminals and drug dealers that are working with the police, that are doing deals with them. So it doesn't even ask me what people say about me because I've gone legit. You're going to have people saying I'm finished, but that's not the case. Because I'm earning legit money. I haven't got to look over my back. Whereas these divvies who are out selling crack and smack on the street or fucking robbing banks or robbing grannies, it's not going to last. They'll be back in jail, in and out of jail. And obviously, whatever bird they've got at the time will end up getting fucking. She'll end up having an affair with Jamal or the milkman or some fucking big Terry down the local pub. And then it's bullshit. It doesn't work. It's not sustainable. Your lifestyle falls apart when you go to jail, and the police make sure of that. Do you know what I mean?
It's a mug's game. The fact is, long term, a life of crime is a life of fucking misery and paranoia. Like I said, like you've alluded to, you're always looking. You're looking at police, surveillance operations, other criminals that might be trying to muscle in your turf or fucking have you over. And then, like you said, then you've got the snakes that are fucking grassing and police informing and all that shit. And like I said, I got into crime, Sicarius, because I saw my ma working minimum wage to put food on a table. I didn't want that for me, so I took the shortcut through the criminal shit. Physically scarred, mentally scarred. I've now come full circle, and I'm trying to get a minimum wage job, brother. That's me.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying, it's not worth it.
But if you look back on it, all them years you wasted, you've hustled for all them years for crime, as I did. And we're still skint. Whereas if we would have hustled for years and went to university, we could be on 80 grand, 90 grand, 100 grand a year now. Do you understand what I'm saying? So all this hustling to do crime and try and keep your money, so criminals don't rob it off you or the police don't take it off you. Why don't you use that same time to hustle and go to university, go to college, go to uni? Now you can go and do a college course and earn a grand a week, legit money. Go and do a railway course. You don't have to be clever. You don't have to be a mathematician or nothing like that. Go and do a railway course and you get a grand a week, 1,500 quid a week. Do you know what I mean? So you don't have to be a clever cunt to earn money, legit. Just go and do a course and use that time as what you'd use to hustle in criminality. But you're hustling in crime every day of your life. Whereas to get a qualification, you've got to do it for a year or 2 years, if that. A railway course takes 3 months, 6 months max. And you're earning 15 ton a week, legit wage, or a grand a week. You probably start off at about 800 quid a week. Do you know what I mean? And it's legit. It goes through your bank legit. So your credit goes up, your mortgages come, your finances come, your credit cards come. So you do well. You have a nice wife and kids, nice family, and it'll stay. Because the police won't be on your case. You know what I mean? All that. Listen, I'm not even trying to say the police are great. So it's not a case of that. It's not a case of being a snitch or of being fucking. Or I'm trying to talk everyone out of it. I'm just saying crime is bollocks. Do you know what I mean? And sooner or later, every criminal will understand and they'll agree. It's bullshit. It doesn't work. You get all these old fellas that have been graphing for years and they're skint. Come on, what to say? They're still skint. They've hustled since fucking 1972. And they're like, they're in the 60s, 70s now and they haven't got a fucking carrot. Don't you think they regret it? Do you know what I mean? I'm 40 this year, so I've still got a little bit of life left where I can try and make something of myself, do you know what I mean? But, you know, if I was in my 60s, 70s, your life's not finished because you can live to the 80s, 90s or whatever, but you understand what I'm saying? What the fuck have you done with your life? Do you know what I mean? And there's loads of fellas in Liverpool who were grafting. When I was a kid, when I was like 12, they'd all fly past and be MM3s and all that, and we'd all be looking up to them, thinking, oh, they're the boy, I want to be like them or this and that. And I see them now and just think, you fucking skaghead. They just look like smackheads. Old, drawn out men, scrawny, fucking. They look like perverts or pedos or something. And that's what crime has done to them. Because you sell drugs, you end up looking like a drug. Years and years of selling drugs, you end up looking like one. You end up partying, sniffing Charlie. It doesn't pay. It's bollocks. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know one successful criminal. Not one.
Well, the one that comes to mind, not successful, because successful isn't going to prison. But if you look at, and I don't want you to comment on this because I'm not trying to put you in some situation, with Curtis, for example, Curtis Warren, for those that don't know, he made stupid amounts of money, but greed got the better of him because I think I spoke to someone today, was like, he had £80 million in the bank. And he said, what am I going to do? Sit at home and watch TV? He carried on hustling, moved to fucking Jersey. So he went from being a big fish in the UK to big fish in a small pond. And the police knew that he loved using payphones, wired all the payphones on the island. He's now locked up and he's got all this money, but he can't spend it. He can spend £25.50 on enhanced in prison. If he is enhanced, it's a mug's game.
Obviously, I don't know nothing about his case. I don't know the fella. So but what I'm saying is there's loads of millionaires in prison.
Yeah.
And they can't spend the money.
Yeah.
They sat there as getting nice clothes sent in and to wear what, walking around the wing in front of loads of men. Come on. Dressing up for other men. And that's what you'll end up doing. Even if you keep your millions and whatever, you'll end up just being on the wing, dressing up in front of other men, coming out in your expensive jeans, expensive shoes for other men to look at you. Come on. Or open you'll probably try and get a prison officer to look at you and try and get a quick suck on the slide. Come on, it's stupid, it's pointless, it's fucking shit. It's a shit life to live. But I'm done with it.
A million percent, like I said, people don't get out. Either pay with your life, you'll pay, or you'll pay with your fucking freedom, right? And
Yeah,
how long did you do in prison all in all, Sicarius?
I got an 8 and then an 8.5, so I don't know, and I done 2 years on the done, so I've spent about 10.5 years away. Do you know what I mean? But if
How long was your Cat A for? Was your Cat A'd off?
They sent me long, Latin, but they kept me as a Cat B. They was gonna, they put me on a Cat A landing at first, but I was only on there for two days, and then they put me on a Cat B, you know. But that was in 2006 or something. Oh, it's a shit life. I've been through. On my last sentence, not the one I've just done, the one before that, I went to 18 prisons, I think, on that sentence. Just from prison to prison. It's just a bullshit life to live. Obviously, the bird who was with at the time, she left me. There was nothing in it. Obviously,
While she was in jail, she left you.
Yeah, she did. She left me for the lad who I got jail for some lad who got nicked for fucking some soldier. Who got, I think he got shot in the arm or something. I got jail for him. I think I got it 8 years altogether. This in 2002. She ended up getting with him and fucking dating him. Do you know what I mean? So it's karma. Karma come back to bite me on the ass, you know. So he sent me to jail and then took me bird off me. So that's what happens. It's one of the consequences of crime, isn't it? But tough shit. It was my own fault, you know. So it's just one of them.
Do you know what, bro? You're a fucking very straight talking, bro. There's loads of comments about how real you are, straight talking sense. What was your time like in prison, bro? Like, what was your how many jails did you go? You sound like you went through fucking all of them on the ghost train.
On the sense I've just done, I went to 3 prisons, but the sense before that I was in 18. And it's just.
So where was that? Preston.
The sense I've just done, Preston, Birmingham, and then Sudbury. But I chose from 2017. I didn't really mix with anyone because I sat there one night. I was watching that Rhys Jones documentary and I thought, fuck, this crime is just fucking. It's a disgusting thing. It's horrible. It just brings misery upon anyone, and that's when I decided not to really. I'd always help people with the legal stuff, with the adjudications and that. I started getting into studying prison law, so I still used to help people, but I didn't have nothing in common with criminals. And I used to tell people, listen, I'm done with crime, and I'm done with it. And from 2017, I've never turned back. And I had this vision when I got out, I'm going to get a job and go legit, and that's what I've done. Do you know what I mean? Well, not that the system helps you. The system hasn't done fuck all. I got my own job when I got out. I got my own qualification. So I've done everything myself. Do you know what I mean? The system hasn't supported me whatsoever. It hasn't done nothing for me. It's barred me out of my own city. I'm not allowed to live in Liverpool. I'm barred out of the whole of Lancashire. I don't even know where Lancashire starts and where it finishes. I don't even know where the fuck it is, but I'm barred from there.
I don't know, man. I have no idea. So when you was in prison and stuff, what did you end up working? I think you said that you was a mentor in Berwyn.
Yeah, I was a mentor for 2.5 years. But Berwyn, it's one of the most corrupt places for corrupt staff. The staff are corrupt as they come. There was that many staff having sex with prisoners. It was filth. It was absolutely disgusting. But each of their own. Don't get me wrong. A prisoner would think that was great to have sex with a screw, but you know, what's at the end of it? Just bollocks. Obviously, you have a shag in your cell, and then you think you're the boy. I just rather get fucking. I just want to focus on getting out and just changing my life, and then that's what I've done.
Single celled off or doubled up?
And I was in a single cell all the way through my sentence. But when I first went to Sudbury, I was in a double. But the people who end up back in a single because the people who put me with were fucking disgusting. You get some creatures in prisons. Prisons is full of absolute creatures. Creatures and proper rodents. You can't trust no one. Half the people are on the spice. Some of them were bullying the birds and sending them money, postloads and that. You used to hear them on the phones to the women. What are you doing? Where are you? They're all control freaks. Half of them are just wife beating wrongers. Do you know what I mean? Controlling the wives, scale the world. What's the bird doing? Because they know, because they're insecure. Criminals are just, majority of them are just insecure, psychological fucking messes. That's most of them are. But that's what I'm doing. I used to sit in my cell and just listen to people because they had phones in bed within the cells, you know what I mean? And there'd be people on mobiles doing whatever they're doing or whatever, and to be terrorising the women. Then there'd be other people on the phones getting bears and sending money, and you best send me this, send me that, and buy me some Chinese, and it's just fucking embarrassing having to bully a woman to send you money. Do you know what I mean? It says what the caliber of person it is, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But that's
It's
why
always one. There's a girl that was recently, right? The amount of women that I've had contact me where their boyfriend has asked them, right? I've spoken to people over the last couple of years where the boyfriend's been asking, a mother of 2 kids, and her boyfriend's in prison. He's asking her to take drugs in. I said, he can't love you, because if he loved you, why would he ask you to take parcels in you when the clamping down and stuff like that? Yeah, I said, you've got kids. I said, you'd end up in prison yourself. Why is he asking you that? If he loves you, he wouldn't be asking you that. Do you know what I mean? You must be like a side chick or something. But a lot of these women, bro, are getting caught smuggling week in, week out. Officers as well are doing it as well.
Yeah, but it says what type of parasite criminals are. That just shows what they are. Because a normal working class person wouldn't jeopardise the family in that sense. You understand what I'm saying? But it says what scumbag criminals are. You know? They're just rodents. Because they've got an addiction, or they want to make a few quid in prison, putting pressure on the partners to do that. They're just scum. And yeah, and any woman in the right mind shouldn't even be with a fella like that. You know, it's just, that just demonstrates what criminals actually are. They're absolute scum. They've got no respect for no one whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a fucking. I'm just glad I'm away from it. It's a dirty thing, and it's something I'd never get back into. I don't mix with criminals. I don't want to mix with them. I've got no time for them. Not in common with them. I'm just done with it. I'm happy just working, going to work in a legit wage. Do you know what I mean? But
the one thing that seems to be dying as well, where you said that crime's on its arse and stuff, and it's harder than ever. Loyalty, bro, in that world is something that people sell out, bro. Loyalty should be a way of life, bro, in that world. But people serving people up because they're looking at a big wreck on a sentence, and they'll turn QE, they'll turn snitch, just to save themselves going to jail. Like you said before, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
But it's what happens on most big cases anyway. People crack and turn on each other, but that's just part of being a criminal. That's what criminals do. You know what I mean? And everyone thinks they're staunch, and they're not too far from it. They've got no loyalty to anyone. But I'm going to have to cut this short anyway, because I'm going to go and have some food.
Sicarius, brother, no worries at all, brother. I'm so grateful, brother. You give me your time. I'm so grateful, brother. I appreciate it. I would have liked to have moved on, because what I want to do before you shoot off, I was going to put this on the screen, because I was going to ask you about that. I don't know if you, but I'll let you get off, brother.
That was just I think that was the case I last went away for.
Yeah. Can you just it is what it is. You sort of, I'll put a link in the description, and I'll let people read themselves, brother. And then there's that picture of you as well when you was from the Echo, bro. I hope you don't mind me putting that up.
It's embarrassing. The Echo put the most embarrassing pictures. I don't know. Yeah. It's things like that. When you look at that, it just makes you feel fucking. It is embarrassing. Like it's degrading in it, but it is what it is. Isn't it? It's just when you're a criminal, you're a bit mentally retarded, aren't you? You don't think like a full chilling, but obviously it's things like that just tear me away from it anyway. When I look back, I think fucking how embarrassing was I? It was just an absolute embarrassing.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's not how you start the race. You might stumble, you might fall, but it's how you finish the race, bro. And like I said, by turning your back on, just think if you could go back to that life, you're not doing it. But if you went back, you could make X amount of money and blah, blah, blah. But like you said, you've changed your life around. You've stopped committing crime. That's why you've come on the channel. I appreciate it massively, mate. I'd love to get you on another time as well and go more in depth.
I'll come back on in a couple of weeks and then just go through something else. But obviously, I'm just telling people that whoever is involved in crime, it's not going to last. So you need to weigh up your options and just, if you get the opportunity to go legit and do something with you, do a bit of training, then you can earn legit money. Do you know what I mean? And that's, even if you're not earning what you're earning from crime, then it's still at least you're living legit. You don't have to look over your shoulders. You know what I mean? You haven't got the stresses that crime brings with it. So my advice to anyone is to fuck crime off and just go straight. Because everyone around you, someone will sell you in and fuck you over. Whereas when you mix with legit people, you feel a lot better. They're a lot more honest and straightforward. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you just feel a lot better. But I'll come back on in a couple of weeks anyway. Yeah.
Sicarius, brother, you go and enjoy your food. Do you know what, brother? Honestly, I'm so blessed for you coming on, and I appreciate it, brother. No end.
Go on, Sam. It's all right. Take care. Nice speaking to you. Yeah.
Catch you later, brother. Speak to you soon. Take care. Right, guys, listen, that's Sicarius. Check him out. He is the real deal. He really, really is. Just want to make a point. He's away from crime now. He's doing it the right way.